I had to keep reminding myself this is a donor, not a date.
Really, you're just getting free random sex, aren't you?
Baby daddy. And the Tinder explosion. Forget chemistry. It's all about your looks.
Now that's a no.
And he's short.
30 million users and counting.
Is our smartphone now in charge of our sex life?
Photo finish. Plus, two of the world's biggest adult stars. They met on set.
I saw him and I was like, oh, that guy's beautiful.
And now they're set to get married. But since he's still working in the biz, how does Honey, I'm Home go over?
It doesn't bother you that when Manuel goes to work, sometimes that work involves having sex with other women?
Strange bedfellows. And men have Viagra. So do women.
This has been called a female Viagra.
But the government won't let them have it.
This was supposed to be my sexual prime, and I've got nothing.
Tonight, New World.
We can't even tell you what that guy said.
New sex. Here now, David Muir and Elizabeth Vargas.
Good evening, and here we go. We are diving right into a debate this Friday night. For most couples, when someone strays, when a husband is with another woman, it can end it all. But Elizabeth found for some couples, it actually keeps things going.
That's right, David. I spent some time last week with a couple where sex outside the marriage is actually part of their livelihood. They've made peace with what most other couples struggle with. Because when this woman says, honey, how was your day at the office? It takes on a whole new meaning. The seductive lights of Hollywood lure thousands each year in search of their big break. For Caden Cross and Manuel Ferreira, that dream came true.
Your business from the outside looking in, it looks like it would be easy and fun.
Yes, you know, you're putting a camera in front of two people who are doing something that comes naturally. But there's a lot more to it.
But these two don't live on Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills, and their films are not playing at your local theater. You're more likely to find them online.
What was your reaction when the first person said to you, I think you should do an adult film?
I never watched porn. I didn't have any feeling on it one way or the other. It just was not on my radar. It was more like a, like as if someone had just said, oh, you could be an astronaut. It was like that far out of left field.
Caden was discovered in her hometown near Sacramento and Manuel at an open casting call in France. By 21, Caden had made her first porn movie, and within 2 years, she was one of the highest paid performers in a $5 billion a year industry. That first film, aptly titled Caden's First Time, was with Manuel.
Oh, hey. Sorry, my lunch went long.
Oh, don't worry about it. I'm not in a rush.
A veteran of the industry and at the time, a married father.
That's how you met?
Yeah, we
on
met
your
that
very
way.
first shoot?
Yeah.
Didn't go like really great as far as a connection between the two of you.
I was so scared and I was so nervous about how am I going to be perceived and does my makeup look bad and are they going to really find out that I can't act? And then there was that little fear that didn't occur to me until I was on set where I started thinking, what if I've been doing sex wrong my entire life and now I go and try to do it on camera and it like everyone knows.
That's not how you do it.
Right, like I really thought, like what if no one told me I've been doing it wrong this whole time? So you're French?
Oui.
And you were gracious, but I was bad.
Is that how you remember it?
I only remember her incredible.
No, that's not true. That's not true. You're lying.
It would be 4 years before they would meet again, and when they did, life looked very different. Caden was now a full-fledged porn star, and Manuel was headed for divorce.
And I remember he showed up and I was like mid-sentence and I saw him and I was like, oh, that guy's beautiful.
That movie was called The Smiths, and much like Brad and Angelina on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, sparks flew.
That's you.
That's me? Is that? What do we do?
Okay, who's more embarrassed watching this? You guys
we're
or
gonna
me?
kiss. It's a telenovela. Look, we're gonna get. Yes. See? And then we were in love. That's a great kiss.
Caden and Manuel became porn's golden couple, the Brangelina of the industry. But as they fell in love, Manuel found it difficult to watch Caden work.
Porn stars, they're people too.
For the sake of their relationship, Caden agreed to stop having sex with men on camera, even though she was making more money, and Manuel would continue to perform with other women.
It was a lot of money to walk away from.
Why did you walk away from it?
It was a thorn in the side of our relationship.
I'm a jealous person.
So despite the fact that Caden was saying this is just business...
It's very difficult to understand how it's okay for me to do it and not for her.
Why is it?
I know that when she did scenes with other guys, she would come home to me and love me. And I know that, I also know she was really good at her job, so it made it a little difficult.
He just didn't want me there. And I could see it in his eyes. It wasn't like he went crazy. You could just tell it bothered him, it hurt him.
Manuel admits his jealousy is a double standard, but he says his sex on porn sets is strictly business.
So even though your job involves this incredibly most intimate physical experience two people can share, you're able to have a wall around it?
Of course, completely. It's not because I'm having sex with a person in a scene that I'm gonna hold hands with her after the scene. We're done, we're done.
Good morning.
Today, Caden has taken on a new role, more domestic goddess than sex goddess.
Hi, Papa.
9 months ago, she and Manuel welcomed a daughter. And these days, the woman who starred in more than 70 adult films is more likely to be found at the park than on a porn set. It's a new spin on the common perception of a porn star. Both Caden and Manuel went to college. They're both family and career focused. And Caden's even a burgeoning writer for many publications, most notably the New York Times.
Do you think people would be surprised to see how the two of you live, how pretty normal this is?
A lot of people are. I often hear people say, oh, you could have done anything. Why did you do this? And then I sort of want to explore that. I'm like, okay, well, tell me what anything is and how it puts me at age 29 with the love of my life and a baby in a nice house with my retirement set up, a good chunk of money in the bank, residual income, and all the free time to spend with the people I love.
Okay, so you can be talking as you come up.
Manuel has started directing his own films.
This is a favorite dress.
With Caden even pitching in to help out with wardrobe for the very women who will go on to have sex with Manuel.
Do you have like a little necklace?
Yeah, I have.
You did write, quote, I'm human, and I admit I size up the woman in the makeup chair. Is she sexier than I am? Smarter? Better in bed?
Yeah, I do. I size them up. Doesn't mean I get threatened and feel like you can't go to work. No, but I'm aware. I'm watching.
Think that sounds progressive? Well, how about living right next to your fiancé's ex-wife?
In addition to your normal life here, your normal life extends to your ex-wife.
Yes.
She lives right there.
As in, right next door. Manuel's ex-wife, Dana Vespoli, is also in the family business. A porn performer and director, she lives just steps away with their 3 young sons, completing this very modern family.
It's practical, it makes sense. It's just sort of easier for everyone.
What do they think Mommy and Daddy do for a living?
They understand that we work in some aspect of production.
So he knows you're making movies, but not what kind of movies?
Exactly.
But these parents know the day is coming when they will have to have a hard conversation about just what kind of movies they make.
It's not going to define us as parents.
Are you at all worried about the day that they see one of your movies? Or the questions that they might have?
The questions, they're not going to be fun questions. It's not like we're looking forward to that day.
We all want the same things, and we all love our kids, and we all work really hard to provide for them and to keep the family strong, and that's all that matters. And then secondary is like, and by the way, we make porn. Oh, I would have never guessed. That's usually how it goes.
Yeah, like that. It's very nice.
Manuel is looking forward to the day when he can stop performing and focus solely on directing.
Do you think you'll miss that?
I don't think so, no.
You'll be ready to give up having sex with thousands of women to just this one woman?
It's weird, I don't want to sound cheesy, but it's almost like I started porn so one day I could meet her. I know it sounds cheesy. It is cheesy, is it?
I love you.
I don't want to sound cheesy.
Oh, look, we're gonna get... Yes!
Next, Tinder. It's the all-new match game.
That's the rejection. Just bang, like that.
Chemistry can wait. This is picture-perfect animal attraction.
Your reputation, fairly or not, is that people use this for quick sex.
We're going on dates to find out when the new sex continues. 2020's The New Sex continues. Here now, Nick Watt.
No.
Yeah,
that's a no. Alyssa here is deciding, often in less than a second, whether she finds a slew of guys attractive or not.
So this is you rejecting them?
No, this is me swiping through all their pictures and then
That's the rejection. Just bang, like that. Stephen is doing the same.
It seems ridiculously simple.
It is ridiculously simple.
Tinder. It's revolutionary. It's all about the way you look, period. Online dating sites like Match.com and eHarmony promise Ms. or Mr. Right, but first a long questionnaire. Tinder offers Ms. or Mr. Right now with as little background information as possible.
I just feel like my generation, it's like if there's an app for it, it's easier to do.
And it's instant.
Yeah.
It's not that you're lazy, it's just that this is now
It's
available
just
to you, so why would you do it any other way?
Exactly.
Swipe right on a photo if you like it.
Okay, so yeah, so she's cute.
So is that a yes?
Swipe left if you don't.
Just a bad vibe.
Yeah.
If you both swipe right,
You just got a match there.
it's a match. You message, maybe meet, maybe more, maybe marriage.
You have hooked up with girls through Tinder. Your mum's not watching.
Yeah, I have.
Are we talking once or twice? Are we talking 65 to 70 times? I mean,
Let's just say I have.
how many matches have you had on this?
1,775. Or we
That's a
both
lot.
said we were both attractive. Yeah, it is a lot.
All the cool kids are doing it. 1.3 billion swipes every day, according to Tinder's founder and CEO, 28-year-old Sean Rad. All this swiping has landed him cover boy status on this month's Forbes magazine.
You're just the modern day Hugh Hefner, promoting sex, selling sex, right?
No. We are making it incredibly easy for two people to meet. What they decide to do with those relationships is totally up to them.
Meetings based on maybe 4 photos and maybe a one-line blurb.
Star signs, favorite movies, favorite food, whether you like George Michael or not. I mean, that doesn't matter.
It matters in the long run, maybe, but when it comes to developing that initial impression, we don't believe that that is necessarily the most important factor.
We hate to admit it as a species, but looks probably matter most.
You look at one photo,
Sure.
which is kind of caveman.
It's efficient. You know, somebody told me the other day that he has been exposed to more women in the last year than probably his ancestors have in a lifetime.
Rad boasts he met his own girlfriend on Tinder. He swiped right and he matched heiress Alexa Dell, daughter of billionaire computer magnate Michael Dell. He was lucky.
It's a very simple idea. Simplicity is sometimes very complicated.
If the balcony scene from Romeo and Juliet was the old sex,
See how she leans her cheek upon her hand.
then Tinder is the new sex. Half of its users are between the ages of 18 and 24.
I know when I don't like somebody, I can tell immediately.
Just gut
Yes, yeah.
intuition.
Alyssa, by the way, made a match, set a date.
Well, I don't really know that much about him.
We'll get back to that a little later. Tinder has penetrated society so deep that popular video bloggers like Chris Thompson are ranting about it on YouTube.
For every shirtless bag on there, there is a duck-faced idiot girl.
Me and my grandma. Dude, perfect. I respect women, love my grandma.
Have you had sex with somebody you met on Tinder?
Yes. You know.
And have you had bad dates?
Oh, yeah. Because there's one thing that Tinder can't do, and it can't tell you if you have chemistry with somebody.
No chemistry equals bad date, and ticked-off Tinderites aren't afraid to post intimate details of dates gone awry on websites like Instagram and Reddit. And just this week, this nosy New Yorker couldn't resist live tweeting excruciating details of a Tinder date at the next table.
Became clear pretty early on that it was a first date.
She tweeted, "Sitting next to the most obnoxious Tinder couple ever. Dude just casually admitted it's his 3rd Tinder date of the day."
I was very proud not only of having met on Tinder, but of having been a bit of a master of Tinder.
It gets worse. He's swiping through Tinder while she's in the bathroom.
And I noticed that he was swiping to the right the whole time. I was amazed at that. I thought it was so obnoxious.
Our boy Chris is hoping for a better outcome. He's made a match. She's late.
If she doesn't show up, like, that's okay.
Back to Chris in a minute, but first, is the superficial sorting actually the way to go?
Physical attraction is critical. It really is critical. It doesn't keep a marriage together, but it starts a marriage.
Sociologist Jess Carbonneau lectures at Loyola Marymount, and she moonlights as a paid consultant analysing Tinder behaviour.
But are these kids dating differently than, I did 10 years ago, than my parents did?
I think that young people are definitely engaging more in a hookup culture than they have been historically.
Now, there are, of course, some Tinder do's and don'ts.
If you do a mirror picture with a phone, it's an absolute no.
Body talk too soon is often off-putting.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's pretty forward.
Uh-huh. That's his first message, too.
We can't even tell you what that guy said.
Posting pics with cute friends is actually a good idea.
There's the effect of when you're posted with another person and they're more attractive than you, they make you look more attractive.
Which brings us back to Chris and his Tinder date.
Well, she's about 25 minutes late. Maybe she's just getting extra pretty for me.
The lovely Dana is a show.
Hey.
How are you?
The hardest part when it comes to Tinder is that you don't know if they're going to be how they represented themselves. And she did. She represented herself true. She's awesome.
He's got a great personality, super sweet, and I thought we'd have a lot in common.
And Alyssa's date, Brian, showed up too. And so did I.
Seem to be getting on. He's relatively good looking.
You both matched?
Mm-hmm.
What did you like online about each other?
You know what? I didn't put much thought into it. I really...
Jeez, wow.
And why did you swipe yes on this guy?
Blue eyes. The blue eyes, the dark features.
Yeah.
Tan.
The blue eyes are working for you.
Definitely working for you.
Yeah.
Alyssa telling us she found herself a good one.
So what do you think?
Well, I think he's really cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This could be Tinder working.
This could be Tinder working.
Is our smartphone now in charge of our sex lives?
We're certainly yielding a lot of control to our smartphones, so sure, absolutely.
Yeah. My phone now controls my sex life.
In a way, yeah.
So if you use Tinder, let us know on Facebook and Twitter. We're live tweeting tonight, so join the conversation. Use hashtag ABC2020.
Next, behind this motel door is a no-tell world until now.
How do you come to this decision to have sex with a stranger, to have a baby?
When the new sex continues.
Now to strangers meeting in a hotel room, but it's not what you think. They're meeting there solely to have a baby. We're about to take you into the underground world of women desperate to conceive and men, complete strangers, willing to help. Deborah Roberts with the hidden way to build a family.
23-year-old Kyle says he has the right stuff to be anybody's baby daddy.
Right now I'm attending university. Both my siblings are engineers. The nuclear engineer is actually my twin. I eat only sperm-friendly food.
Sperm-friendly food?
Sperm-friendly food, yeah. Wheat, brown rice, stuff like that.
Studying for his master's in accounting, he's also a donor, offering his sperm free of charge to women desperate for a baby.
How did you come up with this idea of inseminating women?
I knew a girl and she was like, oh, you should be like a sperm donor because, you have like good genes and stuff.
You're not getting paid. What's in it for you besides random sex with a lot of women?
It's kind of like, wow, like I just made life, like I'm passing on my legacy and giving these people kids.
He's part of the online underworld of natural insemination, where some believe that having sex with sperm donors is the best hope for pregnancy.
Here's my ad I posted. I just put like a picture of me as a kid and a picture of me as an adult.
All this talk about sex with a random stranger got even stranger when we went to Kyle's home.
I'm about to see my recipient. I'm just making my bed, making it look nice.
Yes, this is where life may begin, with a boost from Kyle's so-called superfood, naked juice.
Ready to get someone pregnant.
But who's the mystery woman about to walk into Kyle's life? We hid her identity since her family doesn't know her secret.
My name is Serena.
A 44-year-old insurance broker, she's never been married and longs for a child.
Sometimes career and life just gets in the way, and then, oops, I'm 38. Oops, I'm 40.
With costly sperm clinics out of her reach, Serena turned to the internet for help.
What if you could afford in vitro? Would you go that route?
Absolutely. Without a doubt, I'd do in vitro. I'd go to a cryobank if I could afford it.
This is baby making day.
Takes her 2 hours to get to Kyle's.
Kyle is white, you're black. Did you specifically want a white donor?
No. I'm from a multicultural family, so I'm not going to say, well, he has to be, African American.
What makes you think you're going to get pregnant at 44?
I still have a strong feeling in my heart that I'm meant to be a mom. Hey, how you doing?
He's 23, you're 44.
Yes. I was just thinking, oh my God, am I a cougar? You're like young.
Do you think he would be a good biological match for you?
Awesome. Yes, I think he is the right match for me.
Looks like we're ready.
20 minutes later, the deed is done and the waiting begins.
It went well.
Just waiting like 30 minutes for the sperm to settle.
So you have sex, and then what after?
He makes sure that I prop myself up, and that's what he does his homework.
Homework?
I have this essay I want to get your thoughts on.
This is really good.
What grade would you give it? Be honest.
I would say 86.
And then you walk out and thank you, see you later.
It's like, see you next time.
Have fun.
I'll see you later.
Bye.
That's if she isn't pregnant in a few weeks.
I know Kyle's smart. It's hard to find the right donor.
In fact, a third of women online opt for natural insemination. Among them, this woman we'll call Catherine. She already has an adorable 4-year-old son, but longs for another child.
How much does this mean to you to try to get pregnant?
Oh, it means everything. And I want my son to have a sibling, most of all.
Afraid of what her friends might think, she asked us to remain anonymous.
I always had that fairy tale growing up, thinking I'd find the right man. Hopefully I find the right man eventually, but maybe he won't be the biological father of my children.
After 3 failed tries with artificial insemination, she's convinced the old-fashioned way is better, though medical experts dispute that.
I had read a couple of books that talk about fresh semen being a lot more effective than frozen sperm.
When she met her donor at a local coffee shop, he nearly stopped her heart.
I thought he was cute. I was kind of like a giddy schoolgirl in a way, but yet I had to keep reminding myself this is a donor, not a date.
They had sex only once, yet she can't shake the memory.
And when he left, what was that moment like?
Well, it was sad, but it's the route I've chosen, and that was the hard part. It's still a hard part.
While Catherine tries to navigate this complicated balancing act, 1,000 miles away, a man who calls himself Joe has no illusions about love.
I prefer to meet in a hotel.
We agreed to hide his face and disguise his voice because of the double life he says he leads on the web.
I have a Clark Kent life, and then I have a Superman life. Some people might want to have millions of dollars in the bank, and then some of us might want to have dozens of children out there.
He says he's an internet entrepreneur with a wife, 3 teen kids, and a big secret.
There's a kid in Texas, in Detroit, Wisconsin.
He says he's donated through natural insemination to more than 100 women from every walk of life, writing about his escapades in books.
I say that I've fathered 30.
Did he say 30? To show us how it works, he invited us to one of his donations where we meet Noelle, a young woman eager for her first baby. We get there just as she's checking in.
Hi, how are you?
Joe waits in his car until she texts with the room number. That's his cue to head in.
Hi!
Hi there. Nice to see you again.
I think we timed it right, so I'm hoping that this is it.
But what about the medical risks with a guy who claims to have had sex with more than 100 women?
I test annually because that's what the CDC recommends. I ask people if they have anything. I mean, the testing is just an excuse for the sperm banks to charge a lot of money.
Good afternoon, California Cryobank. This is Karen. How can I help you?
It's a shocking suggestion to sperm banks.
So each one of these boxes would represent a different donor.
Like California Cryobank, where the sperm in each $700 vial is screened for disease and genetic history.
What do people get for that money?
Really what you're getting is not just the vial that you're buying, it's the 99% of the guys that didn't qualify.
Joe knows he wouldn't qualify, but still vouches for his swimmers.
I think the more sex that you have, the better your sperm becomes.
So why would a married father do this?
Well, I have the satisfaction of knowing that I have another descendant out there.
Astoundingly, he feels no guilt.
I don't see this as a betrayal. I'm unable to have as many children as I want in my relationship. I mean, that would be unreasonable to ask any woman to give birth to 30 children.
2 men on a mission to procreate, 3 women on a journey to build a family. As of tonight, no pregnancy for Catherine, Noelle, or Serena.
What if this doesn't work after several tries?
I want to try until I say, you have no more eggs.
Only Kyle found success in this cycle. Just over a week ago, his first child was born.
Does that make you proud?
Yeah, I feel very successful, actually. I feel like, wow, I did it.
Next, not feeling it? Literally? Join the club.
I am 30 years old, and I thought this was supposed to be my sexual prime, and I've got nothing.
So is there a brand new little blue pill for women?
This has been called the female Viagra.
So what's the holdup? When the new sex continues.
It is the latest holy grail, finding a sort of Viagra for women. 25 such products are on the market for men, but nothing for women and their satisfaction. Men have a little blue pill, so why not a little pink pill for the ladies? Mara Schiavocampo found out the answers are a lot more complicated, just like female sexuality.
Sex.
Sex tips. Orgasm.
The big O. The talk of the talk shows.
Faking orgasms to me totally depends on how much money is involved. How much did you say is in that 401k? Woo!
But in a world where women are told they can have it all, when did making it turn into just faking it? We hit the streets of New York with relationship expert Siggy Flicker and found, though we try...
How many times a week do you have sex?
So not answering.
Okay.
And we try.
Are you satisfied with your sex life?
Yeah, you got it. Almost half of the women in America say they can't get no satisfaction. But 1 in 10 women has no sexual desire at all. It's a little-known condition called hypoactive sexual desire disorder.
Sex just seems like so much work.
You have had sexual interest, it's reduced. You're bothered by this.
It's not just reduced, it's stay away, I don't want that, put that thing away.
Even young women can lose their mojo. Catherine Campbell was once a promising country rock singer. That's what the night is for. She was known for her brash confidence, her sexy strut.
I used to love being in front of people. I used to love singing on stage. I used to love performing. I had a certain sexual attitude.
But when this young mother of 2 hit her sexual prime, everything suddenly shut off.
There was nothing sexual that I feel about myself. And so my confidence is gone. I don't want to be in front of people.
A lot of people think that this is something that people go through later in lives. Did it surprise you to be feeling this way so young?
Yes, and it was devastating, honestly, because I am 30 years old and I've got nothing. It's not that we stopped having sex. It's just out of obligation.
We asked Catherine and her husband Chris which one is most likely to initiate sex.
It actually may have been more me initiating before this problem, before I realized I had a problem.
Yeah, it definitely was a two-way street at one point, and then it turned into a one-way street. And you can only go one way for so long before you hit a dead end, and now it's just a closed dirt road.
We asked on a scale of 1 to 10 how they'd rate their sex life together.
Why'd you choose a 3?
I chose 3 because I'm obviously dealing with some sexual dysfunction issues. I'm not proud of this number, and if I'm going to say our sex life, I do think that it's my body that's failing me.
At one point, I would give that at least an 8 or 9, but now it's
You would have given me a 10 before. Come on, baby.
9.9.
Okay, all right.
So what's the answer? That's where sex medicine comes in. There are strange sex remedies by the score, from creams to sprays to shots in strange places.
The shot does have to be given in the vagina.
But what if there was a pill, like the one that turned ordinary men into champions?
This is the age of taking action. Viagra.
So far, there are dozens of drugs for men, but for women, that number is 0. But Cindy Whitehead, president of a company named Sprout, is fighting to get the first low libido drug for women approved by the FDA. It's called flibanserin.
Biology is at play for women. I think that's what's been missing in this equation up until now. Viagra is a blood flow issue, a mechanical issue, and flibanserin works on key chemicals in the brain.
Some of the criticism has been that it isn't really that effective.
I would say, by whose definition? If we say it's modest, I'd argue it's meaningful.
And patient 24163.
This woman volunteered for the Sprout trial.
Istanbul.
Barbara Gattuso and her husband Greg once had the perfect marriage.
When we were first married, I would initiate no matter where we were, on a construction site, behind the bushes, behind a tree, in an empty house, and pretty soon there was just nothing. I mean, I would go to bed early so I could avoid my husband's approach.
But after 5 days on that little pink pill, her sex drive came roaring back.
On the medication.
On the medication, I chase him.
So in the perfect world of female Viagra, how many times a week would Barbara and Greg want sex?
Is that 13?
Her experience with that drug turned her into an advocate. Barbara joined Sprout's lobby group.
And next we'll go to Barbara.
We followed her to Washington, where she testified at the FDA.
I would like to see the FDA approve a treatment
for her right to sexual satisfaction.
We want to be whole again. We want to be the wives that our husbands married. We want to have a normal sex life.
But the FDA said that flibanserin's modest benefits were outweighed by its risks and turned it down. Despite the setback, Cindy Whitehead just did new testing on flibanserin and hopes to resubmit the drug for approval next year.
You know, one thing that Sprout and the FDA always agreed on is the fact that this is an important unmet need.
As for Catherine Campbell, she now believes that little pink pill may be her last hope.
I will be the first person in line waiting to get my hands on it. I want an option for me. I want an option for a woman that works.
Next, dating for dollars. It's like eBay, except you're bidding on a person.
So you're getting ready to go on a date with what's his name again?
I forgot.
But she really likes you.
What's your price?
Are the men expecting sex after paying big bucks?
When the new sex continues.
You can go on eBay and place a bid on what you want, of course, a dollar amount, and that item goes to the highest bidder. So what if you could do the same thing for your dates? Name your price? As Paula Ferris found out, now you can, and that's where the controversy starts.
It's date night, and all across the country, millions of singles are getting ready to go out.
Living large as I put on my clothes, look good from my head to my toes.
Some in search of love, others lust, but nobody wants to be lonely. A select few are trying something radical, going online not to search for a mate, but rather buy one.
At first, it's totally about looks. It'll catch my eye, and then I'll read about them.
Meet 29-year-old Pablo from Los Angeles. He's a busy entrepreneur looking for a good time.
My type is someone that's fun, adventurous, down-to-earth, sweet, kind, dog lover. I love you. Be a good boy.
And with just a few clicks,
she likes wine, she's young.
He makes a $250 bid for a date with this woman, Cindy, a bikini model and nursing student.
Okay, on all fours towards me.
Yes, he's paying big bucks to take her out.
My guy friends They just think I'm a fool. This is kind of like the new way of doing things.
And it's all courtesy of a new website called whatsyourprice.com, an online eBay-like dating auction where rich men pay for a night out with attractive women.
Offers range anywhere from $15 to $300. Most of the men that I've met are just lonely. They want to spend time with somebody.
It's like a business arrangement. Sometimes I'll be at home, it's sad, but I can just go on here and get a girl and go out and have a good time. I'm helping them out and they're helping me out. It's a win-win situation.
But the obvious question is, what's your price nothing more than the world's oldest profession? Prostitution revamped for today's digital age?
At the end of the day, it's all about economics, demand and supply.
The website is the brainchild of Brandon Wade.
Are the men expecting sex after paying big bucks?
Some men do expect sex, and we tell them that that's not what they should expect.
The site says it vets all new profiles and blocks about 500 hookers from joining each month. We really had to look, but there it is in the fine print, a disclaimer: no escorts allowed. But is Pablo just looking for innocent fun or something more?
No strings attached, so we'll see how it goes.
We tagged along on his date with Cindy to find out.
How are you?
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
Finally.
Yeah, you look beautiful. I got you. Bam.
You got me flowers?
Super nervous. You're beautiful though. It makes it a lot easier.
The couple quickly discovered they have a lot in common.
What kind of dog?
I have a Yorkie.
I have a Yorkie.
No, you don't.
I have a Yorkie.
We'll show you later how their night ends. But across the country in New York, 19-year-old college sophomore Selena has turned the website into a part-time job. I caught up with her and her best friend Leah as they were clothes shopping.
How many dates have you been on?
More than 100.
What is the biggest perk for you?
The cash.
She told me she can earn up to $1,000 a week going on dates.
What do you say about those that think you're just money seeking?
I mean, everyone does different things, and for money, I'm really good looking, and I feel like I should take advantage of it now.
But she has limits on just how far she'll go.
Are you a prostitute? Are you a call girl?
An escort.
What are you?
I get that all the time.
You get that all the time?
Yes, I do.
So what's the difference between you and a call girl?
I don't have sex for money.
Okay.
They do.
That's where you draw the line.
That's where I draw the line. I know I treat it just like a first date, just like a normal guy I met on the street.
But not so normal. On this particular day, Selena has multiple dates with different dudes.
2 dates in one day?
Yeah.
What's your record?
5.
Are you more desperate for love or money?
I don't look for love. I let love happen on its own. But I like money.
Pick out something that you would wear on it.
Before she heads out, I ask Selena a simple question.
So you're getting ready to go on a date with, what's his name again?
I forgot.
And you can't remember his name.
I do it all this
But she really likes you.
For the record, his name is Greg.
Yes, Greg.
And it's clearly apparent right from the start, this date is awkward.
Have you ever killed an animal?
The conversation is dicey.
So that's pretty much it.
And absolutely no chemistry between them. But as agreed upon,
thank you.
Watch again as Greg casually slips her the money. Remember, he bought this date with her online.
How are you not an e-pimp?
I believe I'm matching people for meaningful romantic relationships. That makes me an e-cupid, not an e-pimp.
Selena's back at home getting ready for her second gentleman caller of the night.
The guy I'm gonna meet, hopefully he's not boring, because I just spent an hour of my life with these people.
But being bored is the least of it. Meeting strangers online can be dangerous. Best friend Leah is constantly concerned about Selena's safety.
She's